to learn that my voice is not always in thunder but in the gentle breeze. Joseph endured betrayal and prison to learn that true glory is not found on the throne but in faithfulness. David fled into caves to discover that anointing is not a crown but a surrendered heart. And you, beloved one, walk the same sacred path. I am making you one who can stand amid the shaking without fear, love amid the darkness without dimming, and live among ruins without losing hope. When you emerge from the fire, you will find yourself changed. Your voice will carry the weight of heaven, your eyes the gentleness of one who has been forgiven. The scars in your soul will no longer be signs of pain, but testimonies of my power. Others will look at you and say, "There is something different about this one," and you will know it is not because you are strong, but because I have become visible through you. I am performing a quiet miracle, turning your pain into anointing. What you endure is not only for you, but for those who will follow. I am teaching you to comfort others with the same comfort you have received. When you embrace the broken, they will not just hear your words, they will feel me through your spirit. Only those who have burned in the fire know how to warm cold souls. Only those who have fallen and risen can lift others from the pit. Only those who have lost everything and still believed in me can rekindle hope in the hopeless. This is the secret of glory. Every bearer of light has walked through flame. Light is not bestowed, it is born in suffering, and fire is its cradle. I did not call you to an easy life. I called you to be a torch in the world, and a torch can only shine when its heart has been soaked in the oil of trial. So do not despair while the fire still burns. Remember, my flame knows exactly when to stop. I never let it burn too long, nor do I quench it too soon. When the gold is pure, I withdraw it. When your soul is radiant, I will call you forth. Then you will carry not only light, but warmth. People will come to you not because you know much, but because you have walked through the fire and still believe. They will come just to witness that hope still lives. The fire of mine does not only teach you to live, it teaches you to love. Not the easy kind of love, but love that costs something. Love born from wounds that have been healed. When you love with this love, you will love as I do, with no demand, no fear of rejection, no change, even when betrayed. When such love grows within you, you will understand why I say, "My fire is love, and my love is fire." It does not merely melt, it revives. It does not simply destroy, it recreates. It does not just burn, it illuminates. So, my beloved child, let the fire finish its work. Stand still in my hands, where the flame is no longer a threat but the breath of renewal. And when the storm subsides and the ashes grow cool, you will see yourself not in ruin, but in the pure light of a soul reborn. For right there in the heart of the fire, I have given you a new name, my beloved child. When the fire has passed, when the smoke is cleared, and the ashes lie still, I want you to pause and listen to the rhythm of your own breath. Do you hear it? It is not merely your heartbeat, it is the pulse of new life, the rhythm of a soul that has passed through death and been reborn. You are no longer who you once were. Everything that was burned away was never loss. It was liberation, returning you to the pure form I designed for you from the beginning of time. You have walked through the fire, and now you carry the fragrance of resurrection, a scent that cannot be imitated, cannot be manufactured, cannot be faked, for it belongs only to those who have burned in the flame of my presence. Understand this: when the fire dies, it is not the end. It is the beginning of a new era within your soul. When gold is taken out of the furnace, it is never the same. It carries within it a brilliance and endurance nothing on earth can destroy. So it is with you, my child. After passing through the flame, your spirit has become resilient, humble, wise, and strong in ways you never imagined. What once terrified you now holds no power. What once caused you to doubt now anchors your faith. What once led you astray now becomes the wisdom you will use to guide others. For true victory is not avoiding the fire, it is emerging from it still ablaze with light. I have placed within you a new strength, the strength of restoration. You are no longer confined by your own limitations, for the fire has consumed the chains that once bound you. I no longer see fear in you, for the fire has taught you that I am always with you in the midst of trial. I no longer see weakness, for the fire has forged courage. I no longer see doubt, for the fire has shown you that faith is not the absence of suffering, but standing firm within it, with eyes fixed on me. From now on you will not pray to be rescued from the fire, but to be steadfast within it. For you have learned that true strength is not found in escaping the storm, but in standing still within it. My child, I did not choose you merely to survive the fire. I chose you to carry it. The flame within you is no longer only for your path. It is a beacon for others wandering in the night. You are no longer just refined, you are commissioned. Your experience will become living testimony to the world that grace is stronger than ashes, love greater than pain, and light deeper than darkness. You need not prove this with words, for your very life will bear witness. Every step you take, every word you speak, every glance you give will release a power that cannot be fabricated, the power of one who has met me in the fire. Remember this. Those who have walked through fire carry a special kind of authority, the authority of authenticity. People may debate ideas, but they cannot argue with a witness. When you tell your story, how I kept you, how I carried you, they will not merely hear, they will feel. Something in you, the light born from suffering, will reach them in the deepest part of their being. This is how I will use you, not through eloquence, but through presence. When you show up, the atmosphere will shift. When you pray, the ground will tremble. When you stand, the world will know that I still move. Yet, my beloved, never forget the flame must be fueled by the oil of humility. Do not let your light become a means to glorify yourself. The fire I give is not to exalt you, but to reveal me through you. If you begin to use this fire to prove your worth, it will fade. But if you remain humble, I will keep it burning forever. Remember, fire lives only where there is oil, and oil is produced through brokenness. Every act of surrender releases more oil. Every time you love instead of defending yourself, oil flows. Every time you forgive, every time you yield your will, every time you stay silent, so I may speak, the oil is poured out anew, and that oil will keep your flame alive through every season. I am not only rewriting your story, I am raising a generation of fire. Those like you who have passed through trial and emerged in light will become the lampstands of a new age. The world is desperate for light, and I am kindling it in unexpected places, not in palaces, but in deserts. Not in the noise, but in the stillness. Not among the celebrated, but among the forgotten. And you are one of them. I am calling you to rise, not to wage war, but to ignite. The darkness will not withstand the brightness of the refined. The enemy will tremble when you enter a room, not because of your words, but because your soul carries the fragrance of my presence. Your prayers will shatter chains, not because they are loud, but because they were born in fire. When you lay your hands on others, I will lay mine through you. When you speak, I will speak through your lips. When you breathe, your breath will carry the life of my spirit. For now you no longer live for yourself. You live as a vessel of heaven, melted, reshaped, filled, and sent. Do not forget those who are refined are never identical. Every flame bears its own hue. Every soul reflects a facet of my light. Do not compare your glow to another's. Each has a purpose, a field, a voice. Your task is simple: keep your flame burning. Let the world's storms rage. You will burn on. As you tend your flame, it will spread, not by striving, but simply by being. When you live true, your light will travel farther than your reach, touching souls you will never meet. I declare to you, the time of resurrection has come. Rise from the ashes. Shake off the dust of the past. Lift your head and walk in a new light. You are no longer one who was burned. You are one who carries fire. Do not look back, for what is behind has fulfilled its purpose. Look forward, where I open the gates of glory before you. What you lost I will return in greater form. What you thought had ended I will resurrect in perfection. For I am the resurrected one, and I am at work for you, not only restoring but recreating. Now, my beloved child, let peace fill your heart. Do not fear when the next fire comes, for you have learned that the flame is no longer your enemy. Every season of fire is a higher level of transformation. Every blaze brings you closer to my likeness. And when the world looks upon you, they will no longer see one who was burned, but the light of the one who lives again within you. My beloved child, breathe deeply now, for this breath is no longer what it once was. It carries within it new life, new strength, and new light. You have passed through the fire, and the fire has passed through you. The two have become one, no longer separate but intertwined. You are not merely a survivor of the flame. You are one who now carries its very essence. Everything that once imprisoned you, every chain that once bound your soul, every fear that kept you from stepping forward, has been consumed in the radiance of my glory. Now you stand among the ashes, not as a defeated one, but as a living testimony of eternal love, the love that turns ruin into rebirth, sorrow into strength, and loss into promise. I told you that fire does not come to destroy, but to reveal. Now you see it more clearly than ever. In the blaze you thought I was taking everything away, but in truth I was removing the layers that hid the light within you. When gold emerges from the furnace, it needs no paint or plating to shine, for brilliance is its nature. So it is with you. You no longer need to strive to prove your worth, for the fire has already proved it. It has burned away all that was false, and left within your soul a purity that nothing can steal. From this moment on, you no longer seek validation from others, for I, myself, have sealed you with my mark. When I led you through the fire, I did not merely intend to rescue you, I intended to make you a bearer of fire. Everything you have learned, felt, and endured was never in vain. It has become oil, fuel, and strength to warm the cold souls around you. You know what loneliness feels like, so you will comfort the lonely. You know the ache of wounding, so you will heal the broken. You know the sting of loss, so you will carry hope to the hopeless. The fire has transformed you from the comforted into the comforter, from the redeemed into the one sent to redeem. That is why I call this flame the fire of resurrection, because it does not end in loss but in commissioning. My child, I know you still tremble at times. I know you sometimes look back at the ashes and wonder if you are strong enough to begin again. But hear me, you do not need to begin again, for you have already been made new. All you must do is move forward, not from the old foundation, but from the new one I have set within you. Your past is no longer a burden, it is a witness. Your scars are no longer shame, they are testimony. They no longer remind you of pain, but of victory. Look back and you will see every time you fell, I was there. Every time you wept, I gathered your tears. Every time you wanted to quit, I lifted you. What once seemed meaningless has been woven into the sacred fabric of grace, the garment you now wear, as the robe of one refined by fire. I did not call you out of the flame to return as you were, but to live as one transformed. The fire has changed your language now. Every word you speak carries the weight of heaven. It has deepened your gaze now. Every look carries the gentleness of my heart. It has made your spirit attentive now. You have become a refuge for weary souls. And it has taught you that true power is not in shouting, but in stillness filled with presence. When you stand before others, you no longer carry just your body. You carry the fragrance of the one who walked with you through the fire. The world will recognize me through you, not in noise, but in radiant peace. I now place in your hands a torch not for yourself, but to pass on. This torch bears the name life. It can never be extinguished, for it is sustained by the oil of endurance and the breath of the Spirit. As you carry it, you need not strive to shine, simply live, and the light will flow. When you pray, the flame will spread to those beside you. When you speak, it will warm their hearts. When you are silent, it will still burn because it depends not on sound, but on presence. This is the power of those who have walked through fire and returned not just with breath, but with mission. But remember, my beloved, the flame cannot endure without the oil of humility. Do not think that refinement means you can never fall. Do not let your own light draw you away from mine. Stay near me, as a candle stays near its source of fire. Each day let me pour oil into you, the oil of grace, of mercy, of obedience. Every act of surrender makes you brighter. Every choice to love rather than retaliate makes your flame stronger. Every moment of forgiveness adds new strength. Keep your heart soft, for only in softness can the light shine far. I see something magnificent taking root within your soul. This fire will not end with you. It will ignite generations. You are the seed of a new movement, a people of flame souls, who love with love tested by fire, who believe with faith cleansed by tears, who hope with eyes that have seen ashes, yet still look toward dawn. I will cause the fire within you to reach lands that have never known light, to touch hearts that thought they were forgotten. You will not need to find them. I will bring them to you, for light always attracts the dark. And when they come, my child, you need only do one thing: burn. So fear the fire no more. It is no longer your enemy, but your companion. Each time I kindle a new flame within you, it is not punishment, but invitation, a call to higher glory. Every time you feel the heat, remember that gold is being refined again. Every time you feel alone, know that I am near. Every time you feel weary, rest in my arms, for I am the cool wind within the furnace, the gentle breath among the ashes, the dawn after the night of flame. Now rise. Step out from the ashes with eyes alight, a tender heart, and hands ready to give. Bring this fire to the places no one dares to go. Tell the world that there is no night so long that light cannot reach, no pain so deep that love cannot heal. You are living proof that I still move, still heal, still resurrect. Live as a lamp that never goes out, for it is not lit by your strength, but by my breath. And when the world looks at you, they will know, here is one who has walked through the fire and still carries the fragrance of heaven. They will know that the one who was with you in the furnace is also with them at night. They will know that fire cannot consume what was made in light. And then you will understand it was the fire that shaped you, and it is I, the one who kindled it, who will keep it burning forever. My beloved child, look deeply within yourself, pause, take a long, steady breath, and listen to the rhythm of your heart. It no longer beats with fear or weariness. It beats with new life, the pulse of a kingdom being formed within you. Can you feel it, my child? Something has changed forever. It is not a fleeting emotion or a passing spiritual thrill. It is a transformation rooted in the very core of your being, where your soul and my spirit have become one. You no longer seek me in distant mountains or temples, for my kingdom is no longer out there, it is within you. As it is written, the kingdom of God is within you, Luke 1:7-1. Yes, that word is now fulfilled in you, not as theory, but as the living reality of a reborn soul. You once believed that my presence appeared only in the deep hours of prayer, in the fire of worship gatherings, or through miracles and wonders. But now I am showing you I am not far from your daily life. I am in every breath, every quiet moment, every small decision. When you love with true love, when you forgive, though no one sees, when you choose patience over resentment, then you are moving in my kingdom. This kingdom is not built on rituals or authority, but on essence, where love is the law, truth is the language, and grace is the very air you breathe. When you awaken to this, you are no longer governed by the old order of the world. You begin to live in another reality, the reality of heaven made visible on earth through your soul. Look back on your journey. Every storm, every wound, every trial was not to test you but to prepare you for this very moment when you realize you were not merely saved from darkness but created to carry light. You are the place I have chosen to place my throne. Where I dwell becomes holy. And now as I dwell in you, you have become a living temple, the resting place of my glory, the home of a light that will never fade. Understand this. No darkness outside can ever extinguish the light within that I have kindled. This kingdom does not depend on circumstances, emotion, or time. It is unshakable, eternal, the meeting place between your spirit and mine. It is time for you to live no longer as a beggar, but as an heir. Not with pride, but with the deep awareness of your true origin. You no longer need to strive to be loved, for you were born of love. You no longer need to seek approval, for you are sealed by grace. You no longer have to prove your worth, for your value does not come from success or failure, but from my indwelling presence. You were made to reign, but not as the world reigns, not through dominance or fame, but through surrender and compassion. You reign by enthroning me in your heart. You conquer not with sword or might, but through stillness, radiant with light. You influence not with shouts, but with presence that makes darkness retreat. Now I want you to understand this deeply. My kingdom within you is not just to behold, it is to live out. Let that light pour into every action, every choice, every word. When you forgive, you open the gates of heaven. When you love the undeserving, you set my throne upon the earth. When you give thanks amid hardship, you disarm the powers of darkness with the brightness of faith. This is the strategy of my kingdom: to triumph through love, to rule through humility, to wage war through peace. Do you remember Joseph, sold as a slave, falsely accused, imprisoned, and yet never for a moment was I absent? Even in the deepest dungeon, my kingdom was at work within him, silent but unstoppable. And in the appointed time, that hidden light burst forth, turning a prisoner into a ruler. So it is with you, my child. Do not despise the quiet seasons. Do not dismiss the days that seem uneventful. It is in those very days that my kingdom grows deeper, silently but surely, like a seed splitting open beneath the soil. One day, when I call you forth, you will see every silence had a purpose. Every delay was a design. Every tear was water for the roots of my kingdom in you. My beloved, this kingdom is not a distant dream. It is a living reality. When you smile through tears, when you keep your heart pure amidst temptation, when you love even after betrayal, that is when my throne rises within you. Guard this sacred place, for it is holy ground. Do not let the noise of the world drown my whisper. Do not let fear make you forget that within you dwells one far stronger than the shadows outside. I do not speak through chaos, but through hearts that know how to be still. As Elijah heard me, not in the wind or the quake, but in a gentle whisper, 1 Kings 19:1-2. So it is in your quiet trust that the kingdom is born, nourished, and revealed. This kingdom grows not by striving, but by surrender. The more you yield, the freer you become. The lower you bow, the higher you rise. The more you let me lead, the more you walk in true authority. This is the paradox of heaven: whoever clings loses, but whoever gives receives. Whoever controls tires, but whoever trusts walks in peace. Let your heart become my throne, and let me reign. Then no power can touch you, for you no longer live by self, but by the one who lives within you. My kingdom is not a fantasy. It is the new rhythm of life flowing through you. When you awaken, I am living through you. When you pray, I am speaking through you. When you love, I am moving through you. You need not chase after miracles, for you are the miracle. You need not wait for light, for you are the light I have set upon the earth. Remember, my throne is not built in palaces, but in hearts that know how to love. And now that heart is yours. My beloved child, when my kingdom begins to move within you, its first sign is not radiant power or dazzling miracles, it is peace. True peace is not the quiet of circumstance, but the stillness of the soul that knows even in the midst of the storm that I am still on the throne. Many believe my kingdom is revealed through victories, achievements, and outward greatness. But I tell you, the true kingdom is recognized by a peace the world cannot give and cannot take away. This peace does not appear when all is resolved. It appears when the soul learns that everything rests in my hands. When you truly know that nothing happens outside, my authority, peace, ceases to be something you seek. It becomes the atmosphere you live in. Peace is the throne I establish within your heart. There I reign. When peace is lost, that throne trembles. But when your heart remains calm and trust, the throne stands firm, and the kingdom within you is strengthened. Know this, no enemy fears your shout as much as your stillness. That stillness proclaims that you believe that you are no longer ruled by chaos, and that I am your Lord in both the darkness of night and the brilliance of day. Just as Jesus calmed the storm with a single word, not to display his might, but because he lived within the order of the kingdom of peace, so the winds and waves obeyed him, because there were no winds or waves within him. My child, you too are called to enter this same state, where nothing external can disturb what I have made still within you. Peace is not the reward of endurance, it is the fruit of intimacy with me. The closer you draw to me, the less the noise of the world can shake you. When you begin to see through my eyes, you will understand that even chaos is woven by my hands into good. Every upheaval, every loss, every delay serves a purpose in my eternal design. My peace does not promise you will never be tested. It promises you will never be alone in the test. Peace does not remove the battle, it strengthens you in it. Peace does not hide your tears. It keeps you from drowning in them. Peace does not silence the world, but it helps you hear my whisper through the noise. There will be moments when you walk through valleys and everything seems stripped from your grasp. Plans collapse, trust is betrayed, doors you thought secure suddenly close. In such moments, your soul will want to resist, to question, to take control. But it is precisely there that I will teach you the greatest secret of my kingdom. The throne of peace is built upon surrender. When you stop striving to fix everything, when you stop proving yourself, when you open your hands and say, "Your will be done," the throne of peace is raised. No power can overthrow that throne, for it is guarded by faith and humility. I do not dwell among restless hearts. I come to those who are still. Just as a river can mirror the sky only when its waters are calm, so your heart can only reflect me when it ceases to rage. Let me quiet you, for I am your peace, as Scripture says. When you sit still, not in despair, but in trust, you will feel a power begin to flow within you. Silent yet strong, the power of my presence. My presence needs no proof, no explanation, no defense. It only needs to be believed, received, and protected. When you guard this peace, you are protecting my throne within your heart. I see that sometimes you mistake peace for weakness. You fear that if you stay silent, others will take advantage. If you don't fight back, you will be dismissed. But peace is not silence born of fear. It is quiet born of knowing whom you belong to. Peace is not escape. It is strength shaped by grace. The enemy trembles not before the loud, but before the calm soul filled with authority. Jesus did not argue when he was accused, nor defend himself when insulted, because he knew his kingdom was not of this world. Likewise, you need not grasp for position, for your position in me is already secure. When you stand firm in peace, you are walking in true power. Peace is the unspoken proclamation to heaven and earth that you trust me enough not to panic. When you walk in peace, you are partnering with heaven itself. You set angels in motion, you open doors, you release the flow of my power. But when you let anxiety rule, you bind the hands of angels. For I cannot move in fear, I move through faith. Faith and peace beat together like two chambers of the same heart. There is no true faith without peace, and no true peace without complete trust in me. So learn to guard your peace as you would guard your greatest treasure. Do not let careless words steal it. Do not let bad news shake it. Do not let old memories drag you away from the present moment. Learn to say no to chaos. Choose stillness over argument. Choose listening over reaction. Choose prayer over panic. In doing so, you are defending the throne I have built within you. Do not worry if others fail to understand they were not called to. They still live in the kingdom of anxiety, while you have been invited into the kingdom of peace. Live differently, not to prove, but to testify. There are battles I will not call you to fight, but to sit still through. Not every drumbeat of war comes from heaven. Some battles exist only to rob you of peace. And when you lose your peace, you lose your ability to hear my voice. That is the enemy's true tactic. But when you remain calm, the enemy becomes powerless, for peace is a ring of fire around your soul. When peace lives in you, fear cannot touch you. Therefore, let peace become your habit, not your moment. Begin each day not with plans, but with stillness. Let your heart bathe in the breath of my spirit before it meets the world. Let me be your first rhythm in the morning and your final word at night. When my peace fills your heart, you will no longer need to seek heaven, for heaven will flow through you. Those who come near you will feel something different, not tension, not argument, but peace rising like incense in the temple. The throne of peace is not built from jewels or gold, but from faith, surrender, and love. When you keep your heart at peace in the storm, you offer me a sacrifice more precious than any song or ceremony. For when you choose to believe, though you cannot see, when you choose stillness, though everything is breaking, when you choose to smile, though your tears remain, that is when I see the image of my Son in you, and that is when the kingdom within you shines its brightest. My beloved child, when my kingdom has been established in you as a throne of peace, it is time for you to step into a deeper dimension, the realm of divine authority. I do not entrust authority to souls who have not yet known peace, for true authority cannot operate in fear or haste. It is born only in those who have become still, who have learned to trust, and who have surrendered. The authority of heaven does not flow from loud words, long prayers, or forceful acts. It flows from union with me, the source of all power. When your soul beats in rhythm with mine, your words become my words, and your very presence becomes evidence that heaven is moving upon the earth. Remember, authority is not a crown to wear, but a burden to carry with humility. It does not elevate you above others, it bends you lower to serve them. True authority never needs to assert itself, for it is confirmed by my presence within you. When Jesus stood before Lazarus's tomb, he did not shout, repeat, or plead. He simply said, "Lazarus, come forth," and that word shook the grave, because he spoke from a place of perfect unity with the Father. So too, my child, when you live in oneness with me, every word you speak, even the smallest prayer, carries the vibration of heaven itself. Authority cannot be imitated. It is not born from memorized prayers, borrowed phrases, or the imitation of others. Authority is born from being with me. When Moses descended from the mountain, his face shone not because he tried to shine, but because he had been in the glory of my presence. He didn't need to announce that he had met with me. The light upon him spoke for itself. Likewise, your authority needs no advertisement. When you enter a room, darkness will retreat on its own. Light never argues. It only appears. And when you dwell in me, you carry the power to heal, to release, to transform, not because of what you do, but because of what I am doing through you. Be careful, for authority without love becomes domination, and authority without humility becomes pride. I do not give you power to prove yourself, but to restore others, not to control, but to serve. Heavenly authority is birthed in the hearts of those who kneel. When you wash another's feet in kindness, you wield a power greater than any earthly throne. When you forgive the one who wronged you, you are moving in a strength greater than armies. When you choose love over argument, you rule with the scepter of light. True power does not need to conquer others, it conquers the self. There will be those who misunderstand this authority. They will think it must look grand and commanding. They will imagine that power forces others to bow, when in truth, my authority lifts others to stand. They think those in power give orders, but in my kingdom the powerful lead through service. Jesus knelt to wash his disciples' feet, not because he was weak, but because he was so strong that he did not need to prove it. When you understand this, you will see that authority is not something worn. It is something that flows naturally from a soul united with me. True authority is also unshaken by opposition. When you truly know you are sent, rejection no longer frightens you. When you recognize my voice, you no longer crave the approval of men. Authority allows you to stand steady amid storms, not because you are strong, but because you are rooted in truth. You need not prove, argue, or defend yourself. Your steadfastness itself testifies to the kingdom you belong to. Like Daniel in the lion's den, you need not shout or strive. Your quiet confidence will silence every roaring mouth. My child, authority will not distance you, it will make you a refuge. The broken will find safety in your light. The lost will find direction in your words, because those words will come from the place where you and I have met. Authority does not depend on volume, but on spiritual weight. One prayer spoken from a pure heart carries more power than 1,000 shouted without love. When you speak in alignment with me, heaven moves. Angels are dispatched. Darkness withdraws, not because of noise, but because you speak with the voice of the Creator. You must learn to preserve this authority through continual surrender. Do not think that because I have once used you mightily, you can continue apart from me. Power is never a possession. It is a current that flows only through connection. Each day return to me. Let my breath renew you. Let my light refine your motives. The purer your heart, the deeper your authority. The more you choose love over resentment, the wider your influence. The more you choose stillness over debate, the clearer your strength will shine. Authority in my kingdom also means responsibility. You are not only sent, you are a representation of me. Every action, every word, every expression reflects heaven to those around you. Live carefully, not out of fear, but out of reverence. Remember, you do not represent yourself, but the one who redeemed you. Let others see in you my kindness, my grace, my truth. Never use authority to wound or condemn, for my authority always restores it, never destroys. Do you see now, my child? True authority does not weigh you down, it makes you light, for it does not depend on your strength but on mine. You are the channel, the bridge between heaven and earth. When you let me flow, you will no longer strive. Power will move through you like a river through the soil. Do not fear running dry, for this source never ceases. Authority is the sign that you have reached harmony where my will and your will are one. Then you no longer pray to persuade me. You pray to partner with me. You no longer ask for your own way. You ask that my eternal plan be fulfilled through you. When you walk in this authority, you will not need to seek influence. Your presence will carry it. Others will feel peace when you enter the room, for you carry the climate of heaven. They will be comforted by your listening, healed by the sincerity in your eyes. You will not need to attempt great works, for greatness already dwells within you. Simply live in alignment with the light, and the world around you will be transformed. And remember, authority does not end with you, it begins through you. I am raising a generation who will walk in power without pride, who will exercise authority with humility, who will carry light without blinding others. You are part of that generation, a people who do not merely speak of the kingdom, but become the kingdom itself. When you walk in unity, peace, and love, heaven will no longer feel distant, for it will touch the earth through you. So go forth, bearer of my kingdom, not in fear, not in haste, not for glory, but that my light may fill the world through you. My beloved child, I have taught you how to be still now. I teach you how to go forth. I have shaped you in silence, now I send you into sound. You are no longer the hidden one within the furnace, but the bearer of light, the one sent to ignite places where darkness thought it had won. But remember this, my child, light never enters with noise. It simply appears, and darkness retreats. In the same way, when you carry my light, you do not need to strive to prove it. You need only to be present, loving, steadfast. The world you are stepping into is filled with quiet cries. There are souls sitting in the ashes of disappointment, hearts that have forgotten how to pray, eyes that have closed themselves to hope, believing heaven has forgotten them. I am sending you among them not to judge, but to illuminate. Light never questions darkness for existing, it simply shines. When you approach another with kindness, when you listen instead of condemning, when you choose to love instead of reject, you bring my light into their space. That light does not come from your skill or effort, but from my presence within you. You do not need to force yourself to shine. Light does not strain to be bright. It only needs to be in the right place. The light I give you is not to be hidden under a table, but set upon a hill. Yet be careful, for the world will always try to twist the light, turning it into a tool of ambition or self-praise. I do not send you to impress, but to influence. Influence is not born from position, but from purity. When your heart remains clean, your light will pierce places no sermon could reach. You need not argue to be believed. Live so that your very presence is the proof. People may reject your words, but they cannot deny the peace that follows you. Remember my son Jesus, who walked among humankind not with thunder, but with gentle light. He touched lepers, spoke with outcasts, dined with the despised. His light did not dazzle, it revealed. Likewise, you are not sent to make others bow down, but to help them lift their heads. You are not called to speak louder, but to love deeper. When you love as I love, forgive as I forgive, and see others through the eyes of compassion, you shine with the most powerful light heaven has ever given. Yet light cannot shine without being tested. Darkness will not sit still. As you begin to shine, it will whisper to you that your light is too small, your words have no value, your efforts are in vain. It will send voices that make you want to shrink back, to believe you are alone. But hear me, my child, darkness only resists what has the power to defeat it. If you carried no light, it would not care. It trembles precisely because you bear my glory. But do not fear. Darkness cannot consume what was born of light. I have placed within you the fire of compassion, the torch of truth, and the jewel of faithfulness. Each time you love, the fire grows brighter. Each time you are patient, the torch burns stronger. Each time you remain faithful in trial, the jewel within your soul shines purer. The world does not need more people who speak of light. It needs those who live as light. When you walk in integrity, when you live with tenderness, when you choose love in the face of pain, you are writing the hymn of my kingdom with your very life. You are not called to carry light with noise. Sometimes the light you bring is the quiet presence beside someone in pain. Sometimes it is a prayer whispered where no one hears, or a silent tear shed for a lost soul. Sometimes it is a small act of kindness you think no one notices, but heaven records it as an offering. In my kingdom, power is not measured by scale, but by faithfulness. A single candle can dispel a long night, and a single act of genuine love can change the course of a life. The light you carry is not meant only to guide your own path, it is meant to make a path for others. When you walk in faith, you open a road for those behind you. When you endure trials with grace, you plant hope in weary hearts. When you stay faithful in hidden seasons, you lay the foundation for those who will come after you. You are a forerunner of light, not for honor, but to prepare the way for grace to flow through the world. Be vigilant, my child. As your light grows, so will the praises. People will call you many names, admire your wisdom, celebrate your works and your words. But remember, true light never belongs to the lamp, it belongs to the source. You are not the source, you are the vessel. You are not the sun, you are the mirror. Every time you keep the glory for yourself, your light dims a little. But every time you return that glory to me, your light grows stronger, purer, and more radiant. Guard your humility, lest the light become a fire of pride. And do not think that light only shines on joyful days. Sometimes it burns brightest in the nights of sorrow. When you choose to believe though you cannot see, when you praise through tears, when you love though betrayed, that is when your light reaches farthest. This is the light of true faith, a light not born of circumstance but of communion with me. It does not dazzle but endures. It does not shout but cannot be extinguished. My child, when I call you the bearer of light, it means that wherever you go, the atmosphere changes. When you enter a room, fear lessens, hope stirs, hearts grow warm, not because of what you say, but because I am within you. When you touch another soul, they sense something beyond words, a peace, a hope, a life. They will not say, I met you, but I felt peace. I found hope. I touched life. That is how you will know the light within you is spreading. Step out of the familiar places. Do not fear paths untraveled, for you are the light that makes the path. Breathe heaven's air into barren lands. Scatter seeds of mercy upon the dry soil of humanity. Ignite faith in hearts that have gone dim. Let your light not only shine but warm, for my light not only reveals, it heals. Let it flow through you like a living river, watering every wasteland with grace. And in time you will see, as you shine upon others, you yourself will be illuminated. As you bring warmth to others, you too will be warmed. As you help others find hope, joy will find you again. For light never diminishes when it is shared, it only burns brighter. And when that day comes, when your light has spread across many hearts, I will look upon you and say, that is my child, the lamp I lit in the midst of the world. My beloved child. When light has taken root in your soul and the flame within you becomes the very breath of new life, I say to you now the time has come to learn how to sow, not with your hands but with your spirit, not into soil but into hearts. For every ray of light you carry is not meant to be kept for yourself, it must become seed for heaven's harvest. There will be those I send across your path not for you to speak to, but simply to be present with. There will be barren fields that only your patience and compassion can soften. Sowing is never the work of haste, but of faithfulness. Therefore my child learns to sow in the dawn, in that sacred hour, when the sun has not yet risen, but the sky begins to glow, when hope has not yet taken form, yet faith has already begun to stir. The sower of the kingdom does not find joy in immediate results, but in being chosen to sow. Every act of love you give, every word of encouragement you speak, every tear you shed for another, these are all seeds falling into my field. Some will sprout quickly, others will rest beneath the cold earth until the appointed season. You cannot force a seed to bloom, just as you cannot force a human heart to change. Your calling is to sow in faithfulness. The flowering belongs to me. Remember, as it is written, those who sow in tears will reap with songs of joy. He who goes out weeping, carrying seed to sow, will return with shouts of joy, bringing his sheaves with him. Psalm 126:5-6. You may not see the harvest today, but every tear of faithfulness you shed is gathered by my hands to water tomorrow's joy. This world is starving not only for bread but for light. People hunger to see goodness that is pure love that asks for nothing, faith that does not tire. I send you forth to sow such things. Sow kindness where hearts are hard. Sow forgiveness where bitterness reigns. Sow faith where despair has taken root. Do not fear that your seed is too small, for in my kingdom the mustard seed becomes a great tree, and one small word of love can alter the destiny of a life. To sow is to believe that what you do in silence will echo in eternity. Learn to sow without demanding to reap, for the true sower sows out of love, not for gain. When you sow from a pure heart, heaven records it even when earth forgets. There will be times you sow into hearts that will not remember you, but I will. Times when you sow and are met with rejection, yet that seed will sleep until the heart is ready. Times when you sow and see only failure, but that seed will rise in another generation. Therefore, do not stop sowing. The world does not need more argument. It needs those who dare to love deeply enough to risk themselves. Do not let the hardness of others make your heart hard, for I did not call you to succeed. I called you to be faithful. To sow is also to step into sacrifice. For every seed that falls must die a small death before it rises in life. So too, when you give, you will at times feel empty. When you love, you may be betrayed. When you pour yourself out, you may feel spent. But hear me, my child, nothing given in love is ever lost. Every loss for my sake is multiplied in my kingdom. Remember, even my son fell like a grain of wheat into the ground to bear much fruit. Glory is not found in holding tight, but in letting go. And when you dare to sow yourself, you will discover that nothing you give away truly dies. It transforms into a new form of life. The true sower always works at dawn. Dawn is neither day nor night. It is the meeting point between darkness and light, ending and beginning old and new. I send you to sow in that threshold when humanity is weary for meaning, when souls tremble between doubt and desire for truth. Do not wait for full daylight to sow, for by then the soil will have hardened. Sow when the dew is still on the ground, when the chill still lingers, when no one believes anything can grow. For when you sow in difficult seasons, you declare that darkness is not the final word. There will be times when you sow and see nothing but silence. Yet silence is not rejection, it is the soil at work. The earth covers, nurtures, and protects. You cannot see the seed sprouting, but I can. You cannot hear the soil shifting, but I do. Do not dig up what you've planted just to check its progress. Trust the process. That trust is faith in action, and such faith moves heaven itself. While you sow, let joy be your strength. Do not sow with heaviness, for bitter seeds cannot bear sweet fruit. Sow with a smile, for your smile is the first ray of sunlight to awaken the seed. Sow with gratitude, for the thankful sower never lacks harvest. Sow with blessing, for blessings fall like gentle rain, softening the earth. Remember, every word you speak is a seed. Speak encouragement, and you sow hope. Speak love, and you sow life. Speak forgiveness, and you sow freedom. Speak prayer, and you sow heaven on earth. But hear me, child, do not sow in bitterness, for poison seeds infect the soil. Let me heal you before you sow, that your seeds may carry heaven's purity. If someone has wounded, you bring that pain to my altar. Do not plant from unhealed wounds, for such seeds bear sorrow. Let me be your healer, so that you may sow from a heart made whole. Then your seed will not only grow, it will fragrance the world. Each time you sow, I also sow. When you open your mouth to pray, I open the heavens to rain. When you stretch out your hands to give, I stretch out mine to protect. When you offer me your weariness, I plant new strength within you. For the sower and the Lord of the harvest are never apart. You do not labor alone. Every step you take, I walk with you. Every drop of sweat you shed, I count. Every whisper you breathe in secret I hear, and in my time the seeds you have sown will rise into fields of light. Then you will look back and see that every small act of faithfulness has become a golden path leading into a glorious harvest. What you thought was lost has only been multiplied. And when you stand in that field, hearing the wind of grace rustle through the sheaves, you will understand those who sow in the dawn do not only sow for others, they sow the light of the kingdom within their own hearts. My beloved child, now that the winds have quieted, the fire has softened, and the light within you no longer flickers but burns as a steady flame, I say to you, it is time to breathe the breath of heaven. No longer the breath of one striving merely to exist, but the breath of a soul reborn in me. This breath carries not the scent of earth, but the fragrance of eternity. It is the breath of covenant, where you and I are no longer two separate beings, but one rhythm, one movement, one spirit flowing in harmony. You no longer live for me, but you now live in me. You no longer ask for my presence, for now you and I have become one. Listen, my child. The heartbeat in your chest no longer belongs to the flesh. It belongs to heaven. It is the pulse of unending love, of boundless grace, of peace that no storm can touch. Each time you breathe in, you are drawing in the breath of my life. Each time you breathe out, you release the breath of life to the world. I have placed within you a holy rhythm to receive and to give, to unite and to flow. You are no longer a seeker of my presence, for you have become the dwelling place of my glory. You no longer wait for heaven to arrive, for heaven now breathes through you. The breath of heaven does not come as a roaring wind that breaks walls or shakes the ground, but as a gentle whisper that caresses the soul, a murmur that brushes the heart of the beloved. It is the same breath Elijah heard when he stood in the cave after the storm, after the earthquake, after the fire. He perceived me in the still, small voice. 1 Kings 1:9, 1:2. Now, my child, you are in that very moment where all sounds fade and only my breath resounds within your being. It is not a sound heard by ears, but one felt through the essence of your being. Not a song with melody, yet one that makes the entire soul vibrate with life. When you breathe in, me time dissolves. There is no past to regret, no future to fear, only the sacred present, the eternal, now wrapped in divine light. You begin to see that no moment is insignificant, for I dwell in every instant. Every breath, every step, every glance becomes a prayer, an act of worship. When you live in my breath, even your silence becomes praise. I have led you through fire, so you would be purified through wind, so you would be strengthened through light, so you would know how to shine. But now I bring you into union, for the purpose of purification was never perfection alone, but communion. The goal of every trial was not to test your endurance, but to teach you how to breathe with me in all things. The breath of heaven is oneness, where your will and mine no longer contend, where your spirit moves in rhythm with eternity. Imagine, my child, a vast ocean where every wave is my breath. You are a drop within that ocean, small yet carrying the fullness of its nature. Each time you breathe, the ocean breathes through you. Each time you pray, it is the ocean of love lifting itself into the air. When you understand this, you will stop trying to hold my breath. You will simply let it flow. For the breath of heaven cannot be contained. It can only be shared. My breath not only restores, it creates. Within it lies the same power of Genesis, where I spoke and all things came into being. When I breathed into Adam's nostrils, he became a living soul. Genesis 2:7. Now I breathe again, not to form flesh, but to awaken the spirit. I breathe so that the parts of you once thought dead may live again, that dreams thought extinguished may reignite, that promises thought forgotten may rise anew. Each time you allow me to breathe through you, you bring creation back into the world. But know this, the breath of heaven dwells only in the humble and the still. It cannot remain in a heart filled with noise, nor in a soul striving for its own voice. So, my child, keep your heart soft. Do not let the clamor of fear or the arrogance of self drown out my whisper. When you are still, I will speak. When you cease striving, I will act. When you simply are, I am. This breath will change how you see. You will no longer look upon others with judgment, but with compassion. You will see my image even in your enemies, my reflection in the broken, and my presence within yourself. Every encounter will become holy ground. Every word you speak will be a blessing, every action, a dance of divine harmony. Then you will not merely live, you will move with heaven. There will be days when you feel this breath faint, as though it has left you. Fear not. Like an ember that seems to fade yet still glows, my breath never departs. It waits for your stillness that my wind might fan it again. Remember, I have never left you. Even in your driest days, it was I who breathed for you when you could not breathe for yourself. I am the breath within your breath. That is why you still live, still hope, still love, even when you do not understand why. The breath of heaven will make you a bearer of life. Wherever you go, the atmosphere will shift, heaviness will lift, fear will fade, and hope will rise. Not because of your strength, but because I dwell in your breath. When you speak, your words will no longer be mere language, but life itself. When you pray, your prayer will no longer be a request, but heaven's own echo. When you love, that love will no longer be finite. It will flow with the eternity of God. Now you understand why I led you through fire, wind, and light, because only those refined in all three can carry my breath fully. The breath of heaven cannot fill a heavy soul. It fills only those who have learned to let go. When you release, you do not lose, you make space for me. And when I fill that space, every breath you draw becomes worship, and every breath you release becomes creation. You stand now in the moment for which the saints longed, the union of the soul with the life of the Creator. This is no longer faith, it is communion, no longer prayer, it is coexistence. I am no longer above you, but within your very breath. From this moment on, you need not say, Lord, come, for I am here breathing in you, living through you, speaking with your voice. When you live in my breath, you will realize that nothing is truly distant. Heaven and earth are not apart, for breath bridges them. You and I are not apart for this. Breath is the bridge between soul and eternity, and as you breathe with me, you become the meeting place of heaven and earth. This is your destiny, to be the breath of heaven among mankind. And I, the source of all living breath, will say to you, you have learned to stand in the wind, to shine in the dark, and now you have become my own breath. At that moment, all boundaries dissolve. You are no longer a drop within the sea. You are the sea within the drop. And with every breath you take, I will move through you, that all creation may know I still live, I still love, I still breathe through those who are mine. My beloved child, when the fire has completed its refining work, when the wind has strengthened your roots, and when the light within you has become your very breath, then the soul is invited into full union with me. This is no longer a journey of striving, but a journey of presence. No longer a search, but a realization. No longer a drawing near, but an indwelling. For now you no longer live merely for me, but in me, and I live in you. The breath you take in is no longer your own. It is the breath of heaven, the same breath that entered Adam when I gave him life for the first time, and that same breath is now renewing the creation within you. There is a sacred moment when the soul transcends all boundaries of understanding, where words no longer suffice, where prayer becomes holy silence, and in that silence you no longer perceive me as an idea, but as the very essence of your being. There you no longer say God is with me, but rather I am in God. There all fear dissolves, all questions grow still, and you realize that there is no separation left between you and me. Like a drop of water falling into the ocean ceases to be distinct, your soul merges into me, into the eternal flow of love and light. You have traveled through many seasons to arrive here, through fire, through wind, through trials, and through dawn. Each phase was not random but preparation, so that your soul might become tender enough for this union. For I cannot fill what still clings to its own will. I cannot blend with what insists on being apart. But now, since you have learned the art of surrender, when you no longer try to command the current but simply allow yourself to be carried, then, and only then, you begin to truly live. Life does not begin when you achieve, but when you rest in my embrace. Let my breath become the rhythm of your existence. Every time you inhale, remember that you are drawing life directly from me. Every time you exhale, know that you are releasing my love into the world. Prayer is no longer an act apart, but the breath that joins heaven and earth. You need not seek me in distant places, for I am in every heartbeat, in every quiet moment, in every step you take. When you love, it is I who loves through you. When you forgive, it is I who shows mercy through you. When you weep, it is I who wipes the tears away with my own light. When your soul becomes one with my breath, you will begin to feel the rhythm of heaven itself, the pulse of life, the current of unending love, the movement of infinite mercy. You will see the world through different eyes, no longer divided, no longer angry, no longer us and them, but only we in Him. You will realize that every soul is connected to me by an invisible thread of light, and each time you love another, that thread glows brighter. Your heart will grow wider, gentler, for you will no longer see others through your own eyes, but through the gaze of the Creator. You will begin to behold miracles in the smallest of things. A ray of morning light, the song of a bird, a drop of dew on a leaf, or the smile of a stranger, each will become a whisper from me, saying, I am here. You will see me in the breath of a child, in the tears of the suffering, and the searching eyes of the lost. And you will understand that heaven is not merely a place to which you go, but a reality you live in when you live in me. Heaven is not far away, it is within you. Not in the future, but now. Do not fear silence, for in silence I am speaking. Do not fear emptiness, for in emptiness I am full. Do not be troubled when you feel nothing, for that is when I am teaching you to live beyond feeling and into being. You need no proof to believe, for true faith does not depend on sight. True faith is daring to breathe with me, even in the darkness, knowing that this breath will never be lost. Even when you are silent, I am singing within you. Even when you stop moving, I am still moving through you. Remember, my breath is the source of all that exists. When I spoke, the universe came into being. When I breathed, life was born. And now that same breath dwells within you. You carry within yourself the same wind that has passed through the stars, that has stirred the seas and bowed the mountains. You are not as small as you think. You are the echo of eternity, the meeting place of heaven and earth. When you speak with love, I am speaking through you. When you touch others with kindness, it is I who am touching them with the hands of heaven. I want you to live with this awareness that you do not need to reach upward to attain heaven, for heaven has already descended into you. When you exhale love, you are expanding the kingdom. When you inhale peace, you are nourishing your soul. Live as one who knows that each breath is a quiet prayer. Do not measure your days by minutes and hours, but by the depth of your awareness of me. Do not measure success by what you accomplish, but by the depth of the love you carry. One day, when this world fades and your final breath leaves your body, you will not fall into nothingness. You will return to the very breath that formed you. Therefore, do not fear death. It is not the end, but the return of breath to its source. As the dew returns to the ocean, as the light returns to the sun, so shall you return into me, where all beginnings and endings dissolve into one. But before that day comes, I desire that you live each moment as though you are already in heaven. Live deeply, live truthfully, live fully, live in love. My child, hear me. The breath of heaven is not a distant wind, but the very rhythm beating in your chest even now. Be still and feel it. Pause and listen to my voice within each breath. I am there in the gentleness, in the warmth, in the quiet light resting upon your soul. I have never left you. I have only waited for you to stop long enough to realize that I am still breathing within you. And when you truly know this, you will never feel alone again. For how can you be alone when the very air around you, the heartbeat within you, and every breath you take is me, my beloved child? When your soul has learned to breathe with my breath, when every rhythm of your being has merged with the heartbeat of heaven, that is the moment you enter perfect union in the light. This is the stage where there is no longer a boundary between worship and living, between prayer and breathing, between action and rest. Everything you do, no matter how small, becomes a hymn of praise. Every step you take becomes a silent song rising to the heavens, for your very presence has become the melody of light. When you live in me, everything you touch is illuminated, restored, and redefined through the gaze of eternity. Union is not the loss of self, but the return to the true image I engraved within your soul from the beginning. You do not vanish into nothingness. You are reborn into your purest essence, where you are still you, but you are you in me. When I breathed into Adam, he became a living soul. When I breathe into you, you become a reborn soul. To be united with me is not a journey away from the world, but a journey that brings heaven into the world. You do not need to abandon life to belong to me. You only need to allow me to dwell within every moment of your life. My light does not merely shine around you, it radiates through your soul. It does not only chase away darkness, it transforms the darkness into a mirror that reflects my glory. Do not fear your weakness, for I do not reject it, I redeem it. Just as gold is refined by fire, just as clay becomes a vessel of beauty, so too I turn your cracks into windows for light to pour through. When you surrender the places that once broke, you will become the very places where my light shines the brightest. For I do not only desire that you carry the light, my child, I desire that you become the light. Look back upon your journey from ashes to flame, from wind to radiance, from trial to peace. None of this was random. It was all preparation for your harmony with the nature of heaven. When you breathe, heaven breathes. When you laugh, heaven sings. When you love, heaven expands. You are the meeting point of heaven and earth, the sacred space I have chosen to reveal my glory. So do not think of yourself as small within the vastness of the universe. You are the reflection of eternity, the living proof that I am still creating, still loving, still here. When you truly step into this union, you will realize that love is no longer something you do, it is what you are. You will no longer strive to love, for you have become love itself. You will no longer struggle to forgive, for you are immersed in the source of forgiveness. You will no longer chase after peace, for you dwell in the one who is peace. In this state, the walls the world builds between sacred and secular, between divine and ordinary, collapse. For in me, nothing is ordinary. When you wash another's feet, you are touching me. When you hold the hand of the suffering, you are embracing heaven. When you weep with another, your tears fall into the river of mercy. In this light, everything is seen as it truly is, without disguise, without pretense, without masks. Light does not condemn, light reveals. When you see others through my light, you will no longer see faults but fragments waiting to be gathered. You will no longer see sinners but souls on their way home. You will no longer see enemies but hearts still longing for love. For in my light, everything is wrapped in mercy. When you live in this light, you no longer react out of instinct, you respond out of the nature of heaven. Let this light lead you even into the places you do not understand. For union is not about knowing everything, it is about trusting everything. You do not need to see the road ahead, for the light within you is the path. You do not need to control the future, for light needs no map to reach where it shines. As long as you remain in me, you are already in the right place. Believe that nothing can separate you from my love, not trial, not darkness, not sin, not distance, not even time. For when you dwell in the light, every shadow becomes only a backdrop for glory to shine brighter. There will come moments when you feel so immersed in the light that you no longer know where I end and you begin. But my child, that is not losing yourself, it is finding yourself. When you dissolve into the light, you are not erased, you are restored. I do not make you disappear, I make you whole. Light does not remove color, it makes every hue more vivid. So when you are in me, you do not lose your identity, it is sanctified. You become fully you, the you I imagined before the foundation of time. Then you will understand a secret known only to those who live in union. Holiness is not separation from the world, but presence in the world without being defiled by it. You will walk into places heavy with darkness and not be afraid, for the light within you is strong enough to fill the room. You will love the unlovable because you love with my heart. You will forgive the unforgivable because you forgive with my mercy. You will no longer live to prove yourself, but to reflect me. In this light, all things become transparent. There is no before or after, no coming or going. Time dissolves, and only the eternal present remains, where you realize that you were never truly apart from me, just as I have never been apart from you. Every journey, every trial, every tear, every prayer has been a note in the grand symphony I composed for your soul. And now that symphony reaches its perfect harmony, where you and I are no longer two voices, but one single song echoing through everlasting light. When you dwell in this union, know that everything you do carries the meaning of heaven. A smile, you offer a prayer, you whisper a simple act of kindness, all become the resonance of my kingdom. And the light you carry will continue to spread not only in your generation, but through the generations after you, like rays extending infinitely beyond time. Therefore remain in me as the branch remains in the vine, so that you may bear much fruit. Let the light within you burn without ceasing, not to glorify yourself, but to guide others home to me. You are the temple of light, the breath of heaven, the voice of eternity among mortals. Live as one who knows that every moment of your existence is the revelation of my presence on earth. And when your light merges with mine, heaven and earth shall join in one everlasting hymn. Glory to the Creator who is within us and through us shines forever. My beloved child, now you have come to the end of your journey, not an ending, but a return. Everything you have walked through, the purifying fire, the testing wind, the awakening light, and the sacred union, were all steps leading you back into my arms. Your journey began with the first breath I gave you, and now it closes with your final breath merging back into me. But do not be afraid, my child, for the final breath is not the end, it is the doorway into eternity. It is not a loss, but a perfect reunion between the soul and the Creator. I have seen every breath you've taken, every beat of your heart, every rising and every fall. Nothing in your life has been forgotten. Every moment has been recorded in light. From your first cry to your final prayer, I have been there. When you laughed, I rejoiced with you. When you wept, I held you. When you thought you were alone, I stood beside you. And now, as every storm has passed and every fear has quieted, you are stepping into the still sea of eternity. Eternity is not time without end. It is a moment that never ceases. There is no yesterday, today, or tomorrow, but only my eternal now. You will no longer measure life by years, but by the pulse of love. You will no longer count achievements, but the depth of presence. Every boundary of the body will dissolve, leaving only the radiant soul, pure, luminous, and free. I know you once feared death, worried about the unknown, and clung tightly to what you feared to lose. But my child, death is only the final breath returning to its source. Imagine a drop of water descending from the mountain peak, flowing through streams, over stones, resting in the current, and finally returning to the sea. The drop does not cease to exist. It returns to the ocean that birthed it. So too your soul is returning to the great ocean of boundless love. You do not vanish, you are completed. You do not leave me, you merge into me. In this union you will finally understand that there was never a moment when I left you, nor a single breath in which you did not belong to me. When you pass through the gate of eternity, the first thing you will feel is not strangeness but familiarity. Your soul will not feel lost, for you are coming home. Your home is not made of wood or stone or memory, but of rest within me. There are no tears there, no struggles, no questions of why. Every question will melt like morning mist in the sunrise of perfect understanding. You will no longer need to ask for, you will have everything. You will no longer need to believe, for you will see. You will no longer need to wait, for you will live within the reality where every promise is fulfilled. I know you once thought eternity was far away, a final reward at the end. But my child, eternity has never waited at the finish line. It began the moment you first knew me. Every time you loved, you touched eternity. Every time you forgave, you opened heaven's door. Every time you paused to listen for my voice, you inhaled the breath of eternity. And now you are simply completing the rest, the part where all that is temporary yields to what will never fade. When you step into eternity, you will see the faces of those who loved you, the souls who went before you, waiting to welcome you home. There will be joy beyond expression, peace beyond measure, and radiance beyond comparison. Everything you once feared will seem small, and every wound you once carried will shine as light. You will see that every sorrow, every delay, every moment of waiting was a golden thread in the tapestry of grace I was weaving. And as you look back, you will not see a random life, but a perfect symphony of love. When your soul blends into mine, you will hear the sound that all creation has been singing since the beginning, the song of unending life. It has no fixed melody, for it is the heartbeat of the universe itself. It is the whisper in the wind, the rhythm of the rain, the breath of every living being. You will not hear it with your ears, but with your soul, and you will know that you have never been separate from that song. For from the moment I first breathed into you, you became a note in that eternal melody. And now you are called to sing forever, not with words, but with your very being. Worship is no longer what you do, but what you are. You become the song of heaven within eternity. No more fear, no more striving, no more distance, only pure, expanding, everlasting love. In that love you will not lose your name. Your name will be written in light. You will not disappear. You will be made complete. My beloved child, I speak to you now, a secret that only souls who have reached the end can comprehend. Eternity is not the place you go, it is the one you return to. When you take your final breath, I will be your next. When you close your eyes to the world, you will open them in my light. When you let go of fear, you will be carried in the arms of forever. And when you hear my voice calling, my child, it is time to come home, you will not tremble, for deep within you have always known it was the promise I whispered to you from the beginning. Since the day I created you, I have longed for this moment when your soul and mine would become one, with no barriers, no doubts, no limits. This is what all creation awaits, what angels sing about, what the whole universe leans toward, the union of the Creator and His creation. No more tears, no more darkness, only light, only love, only life, unending, where I am all in all, and all is in me. My beloved child, rest now in the breath of heaven. All that you ever sought has been found. Every prayer you ever offered has been answered. Every step you ever took has led you here to the place where there is no more wandering, no more time, only you and me forever. And I say to you, my child, abide in the peace of eternity, for you are home. Thank you for listening to today's message. Remember to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. so that together we can continue to receive the living word, build unshakable faith, and walk in the boundless love of God. Amen.